Hi, David O'Sullivan here, and this video I'm going to be doing a spoiler talk for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. So it goes without saying, spoiler warning, I'm going to be talking heavy spoilers in this film. So if you haven't seen Batman v Superman yet, then I wouldn't watch this video unless you don't care about major things being ruined for you. But then again, the film has been out for over a week now, so I'm pretty sure a majority of people have seen this film, so I thought now would be a good time to do this spoiler talk, where I can talk about all the things that I wasn't able to talk about in my spoiler-free review. And if you want to know my, full in-depth thoughts on the film, then be sure to check out my spoiler-free review of the film. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about all the spoilerific things, all the little details, all the things that, were shocking or surprising, certain revelations, certain things that were revealed, certain twists, certain surprises, all those things I'm going to be talking about in this video. So, without further ado, let's kick off the spoiler talk for Batman v Superman. I may as well start from the beginning and just go through the film. There's various things I want to talk about that happen throughout the film, so I may as well start at the beginning. And the first thing, I absolutely love the opening of this film. Now, you can bash the film for maybe things that happen that are after the opening sequence, but for me, the opening 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long it lasts for, is one of the best openings to any comic movie I've ever seen. I mean, I wouldn't put it as high as like The Dark Knight or anything, it's not that great, but I do think the opening, like I said, 15, 20 minutes or whatever it is really strong. I think it is really good. It really hooked me into the film, it really engaged me, and I was really excited. Unfortunately, after the opening, it does go a little bit downhill. It does turn into a little bit of a jumbled mess in certain respects, but the opening, like I said, I just absolutely love. The opening title sequence and how they show Bruce Wayne's origin, I absolutely love that. I really didn't see that coming. I mean, I did in a way, except it kind of spoiled for me in a review that I read, because I thought it was just going to open with Bruce in Metropolis, in the Metropolis battle, and that is the very next scene. But the first thing we see is Bruce Wayne's kind of backstory. We see his parents being killed, and we see him running away from the funeral, falling into the cave, seeing the bats, and the way in which they showed that was, I think, really well done. I think Snyder did a really good job of that. I think he deserves to be praised, because the whole Batman backstory origin thing, we've seen it lots of times before, and Batman Begins did it so well, but the way in which they did it in this film, I think it was really well utilised and done in a really interesting and effective way, because I knew we were going to get that scene in the film, because I remember seeing it in the trailer, the killing of Bruce Wayne's parents, and I was like, oh, why are they putting that scene in this film? We don't need to see that again. Why are they showing that to us again? I know when I'm going to see the film, I'm going to see that scene and go, why did they put that in? But I never even thought, it never even occurred to me that that could be the opening to the film. I thought maybe it would be that, Bruce in Metropolis, or just an introductory scene to Batman. But to open with Bruce Wayne's origin, I think, was a really good idea, and I absolutely love that, because it introduces us to this new Batman by showing his origin in this kind of flashback montage style way within the opening titles, and it was so well done. We didn't even need any dialogue, it was just all about the visuals and complete with the music, and it was so powerful and so effective. And even though I've seen that so many times, it was just as, if not more so, compelling and effective to watch. The way in which they just combine the visuals, how it was shot. Even though, like I said, it's a scene we've seen so many times before, the killing of Bruce Wayne's parents, the way in which Snyder shot it, and it really looked like the comic book brought to life. The whole gun with the pearls and the pearls exploding, and just everything about that scene I thought was just great. And like I said, how there wasn't really any dialogue, it was just the visuals accompanied with the music, and I just loved the music by Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL. And like I said also, it wasn't just that scene, they kind of combined that scene with Bruce running away from the funeral and falling into the Batcave, and the way in which they cut back and forth between those two moments, I think, was really effective, because we didn't just show one and then the other, or just one or the other. They showed them both at the same time, because they are quite intertwined. We saw him running away from the funeral, and we cut back and forth between that and the actual killing of his parents, and then when he fell into the cave, he gets thrashed by the bats and then just rises up out of the cave. That bit did throw me for a little bit the first time. I was like, what the hell's going on here? They can't lift him up into the air. But then I realised, oh yeah, this isn't literal, this is more metaphorical. I think it was such a powerful, effective way to show Bruce Wayne's origin in just this quick flashback montage sequence at the beginning of the film. It really set up this new character Batman really well, in a really interesting and effective way. And like I said, with him rising up out of the ground with the bats, going up into the light, in the dream, it carried me into the light. a beautiful lie. And the way in which we then cut from that into the Metropolis battle, seeing Bruce as an adult now in the Battle of Metropolis. I think that was really well done that way, because I never thought of that, like I said, them starting with that and then them cutting from that to Bruce and Metropolis. And I think that was so good, because it still would have been really cool if they just cut straight to Bruce and Metropolis. But the way in which they cut from the Bruce's origin to him now grown up in Metropolis, I think it was really well done. How they transitioned from that scene of him rising up with the bats into the light into the Metropolis battle, and I think it made it even more powerful and effective, seeing him as a kid, seeing how he became the person who he is now, and then seeing him now in the present day, witnessing the reveal of Superman for the first time. I thought it was great. And I've already kind of touched upon this already in my spoiler-free review, but again, the Metropolis battle I just absolutely loved. I think it was another great scene to start off with, seeing Bruce now as an adult in Metropolis in the present day, witnessing Superman's reveal to the world, because I do like that final battle of Man of Steel, but it was so cool and so interesting seeing it from this other perspective, because in Man of Steel we're all seeing it from high above, we're seeing it from like Superman's perspective, or the guys on the plane there, but then to see it all from the ground perspective, from the people on the ground looking up, seeing, witnessing this, it was just so great, because it was the same scene, but we got to see it from a completely different perspective and a completely different viewpoint, and how they set up Bruce's motivations of why he doesn't like Superman and why he's against Superman. I think it was just such a powerful and effective way to open the film, and I just absolutely loved it. Like I said, from that scene, it then becomes a little bit of a mess. The scene's kind of all over the place, jumping from one scene to the next, location to location, all a bit all over the place. But I don't think you can bash that opening. Whatever, is it 10, 15, 20 minutes? I don't know how long it lasts for, but I just think it's great. I just absolutely love it. And the next thing I want to talk about is, of course, the Batman nightmare sequence, in which we see this vision that Bruce gets of this kind of post-apocalyptic future. Again, I touched upon this in my spoiler-free review slightly, but even though I did say that some of the visions did feel a little jarring, out of place and out of context, I just absolutely loved this whole nightmare sequence. I just thought it was great. I mean, it did come out of nowhere a little bit. It did seem a little out of place, but I just absolutely loved the scene itself. I watched the film again for a second time in IMAX, and all the IMAX sequences were just absolutely incredible. The Batman nightmare sequence being one of them, how the screen just suddenly went massive, and it was so immersive, it was just so epic, and it was just great. And it was just such a cool scene to see this dark version of the future in which, like, Darkseid has come, it's become this apocalyptic wasteland, and Superman and Batman are still at war with one another. We've got Superman and his followers, Superman presumably working with Darkseid, and then we have Batman and his followers, and obviously we've got Superman and his followers also working with the parademons. We see that great fight sequence, and Batman realises he's been tricked and he's been trapped, and he just suddenly lashes out and just takes on all of the Superman followers, and then we see all the parademons flying down. It's just great. It's just like, it was like something out of Mad Max or something. I just absolutely loved it. I would just love it. We've got a film all about that, just like this. It was just some Injustice Gods Among Us film, which is set in this post-apocalyptic future with Superman, the evil guy, and Batman just... I mean, they may do this for Justice League, I don't know, but then seeing as Bruce has got this message and this vision warning him of this future, and he's going to bring the Justice League together now, I don't think that's going to happen. Superman may still come back evil, I don't know, but, he may get like brainwashed by Darkseid and turn to the evil side, I don't know, but seeing as Bruce has got this warning and this message from the future, and he's going to like bring the Justice League together now to, so that they'll be able to actually stop Darkseid and, fight against him. I don't think that future is going to happen unless it kind of has happened in some alternate timeline, because of course we get that awesome cameo from the Flash. The other Justice League cameos I weren't too crazy about, but that one that bookended the Batman nightmare sequence, in which we see Flash breaking through the whole kind of like time barrier kind of thing. We just see him, I'm presuming he's coming back from that post-apocalyptic future, and that's how the two of them kind of connect, and that he's kind of like travelling back in time from this post-apocalyptic future, warning Bruce, giving him this message, fear him, you need to change the future, you need to bring us all together so we can stop him. I'm presuming that's what it was talking about, because he says Lois is the key. And of course, in the Batman nightmare sequence, Superman says to Bruce, she was my world, and you took her from me. So I'm presuming that future was to occur if Lois was killed or was taken from him, and then he just went crazy and evil. And that's why Flash was saying, Lois is the key. You're right about him, fear him, bring us together, Bruce. You need to find us. You have to find us. So, of course, now because Bruce has got that message, giving him this warning, he's going to bring the Justice League together now. After he got this files from Lex Luthor, he's going to bring the Justice League together now. So they've got a team to, fight against Darkseid when he does come. Because I'm presuming Darkseid is coming and is going to be the villain in Justice League. I'm not sure, but it's heavily alluding to that and pointing towards that. And like I said, the Flash cameo scene, I just absolutely love it. It did, again, come a little bit out of nowhere. It felt a little jarring and out of place. The scene itself was so cool. And the first time, those two moments, I was like, whoa, I couldn't really enjoy them as much as I wanted to because I was a little like, what the hell's going on? The second time, knowing what to expect and knowing they were coming, I was able to enjoy them a whole lot more because I wasn't kind of taken out of the film because I knew they were coming. And that Flash cameo scene with him travelling back in time, breaking through the sun, we got all the lightning, and it was just looked so great. And I loved the whole post-apocalyptic look of the Flash's suit. It was more of an armor look, it looked kind of like an Injustice Gods Among Us kind of thing. And I think Ezra Miller was great in that bit as well. So I'm really looking forward to the Flash solo film. Maybe the Flash solo film will be set in the future, I don't know, because instead of doing a prequel, a backstory film, maybe they'll have the Flash film set in the future and we see him go back in time. But I'm pretty sure that scene will be kind of connected to the Justice League film. I'm pretty sure we'll see how that moment arose from the Justice League film. That's what I would suspect anyway, but it wouldn't be cool if we got a Flash film set in the future. If we got like a Justice Gods Among Us thing or a Flashpoint Paradox kind of thing. It would be so cool because I don't think that post-apocalyptic future is going to happen now. I think that future has been prevented, but to see this alternate timeline and this Flash in this alternate timeline in the future would be so cool, but who knows. However, the other cameos from the other Justice League members I didn't really like as much. Wonder Woman's I did. I liked the fact that they contrasted the whole modern day CCTV surveillance footage with the old black and white picture from the wartime and the contrast between there, and I love that. I think that worked really well. From what I saw from Wonder Woman this film, I am excited for the Wonder Woman solo film, but for the others, I wasn't too crazy about those cameos. It did feel like they were just shoehorned in just for the sake of, giving the audience a glimpse of these characters and just telling them, oh yeah, we're going to be seeing them soon, they're getting their own film soon, or the Justice League's coming, we're going to see all these characters. It just didn't feel very natural and organic. It just felt a little shoehorned in. It felt a little just like it was thrown in our face. It was like, oh, here's this character, here's that character. And it wasn't just because of that. I think the actual cameos themselves weren't that great. How they were all just surveillance footage I thought was pretty lame. I mean, surely there was more interesting or effective ways they could have introduced these characters, given us glimpses of these characters other than just showing CCTV kind of surveillance footage of each other. And I think maybe for just one of them, maybe if just the Flashes was CCTV footage and the others were different, but the fact that they were all just surveillance footage clips on this drive that Wonder Woman was looking at, like, well, look at this one and look at that one, look at that one, and then it just felt a little lame, a little lazy, a little underwhelming. Is that the best they could have come up with? Couldn't they have thought of anything better than that? I mean, surely there was some more interesting or effective ways they could have, given us glimpses of these characters. Like, maybe if we had Aquaman interact with Superman within some sort of disaster at sea or something, I don't know, like there was some kind of like shipwreck or some ship was kind of like destroyed that was just carrying some kind of like unsavory stuff, or it was doing some bad stuff to the water, and then we saw Superman come to save people and then Aquaman was there and they had a brief confrontation or something. Maybe something like that would have been way cooler, and it would actually have been involved briefly within this actual story of the film and in the world of the film. I'm really looking forward to Aquaman, and I think it's going to be really cool, but that surveillance footage clip of him, it just looked pretty lame. I mean, it was like, what the hell is going on there? I mean, I get the fact that, the actor, is underwater, but the fact that it just looks like Jason Momoa underwater holding his breath, it didn't look like we were watching Aquaman. It just looked like it was Jason Momoa underwater, and it just looked a little awkward. The Flash I thought was alright. Cyborg was a little rushed. I don't mind Cyborg, but I don't think he's a boring, uninteresting character. I get why they're putting Cyborg in there. They want to make it a little more, each hero is going to be quite different from one another, and they're making it more like the New 52. But at the same time, I would just so prefer Martian Manhunter. Years of doing like fan fiction, I predicted it kind of right, but I had Martian Manhunter in there instead of Cyborg, and I just really like Martian Manhunter. I think he's much more of an interesting character. I can see why they wouldn't want to do him though, because he is quite similar to Superman in terms of his powers, but really, character-wise, he's quite different, I mean, it's kind of like a mesh between Superman and Batman with some more of his own thing going on there. And I think Martian Manhunter would have been a whole lot cooler, but I'm not against them using Cyborg. I can see why they want to do it. I would have much preferred Martian Manhunter. But it was so cool if they just revealed that he was just the detective on Earth who's been working on Earth, and he's just been there living on Earth in secret, in disguise for years. I think that would have been so much cooler, but like I said, I don't mind that they're using Cyborg. I can see why they want to do that and go down that route. But yeah, I didn't mind the cameos and the Justice League members. It didn't really get me excited for their solo films or for the Justice League film. I mean, I do want to see the Justice League film. I do want to see these other solo films, but I just didn't feel like it was necessary to shoehorn them in there in such a way that it just felt forced. It just felt they were just there just for the sake of it. It just didn't feel very natural or organic. It just, like, we were in the middle of, like, we were just about to get this Batman v Superman fight, and then it cuts to Wonder Woman looking at these other guys on the files there. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm excited for Justice League, I'm excited to see these other heroes, but we're just about to get to the Batman v Superman fight here, and then this film is called Batman v Superman. That's what I want to see. Just sod this, I want to see that. I think they could have done a much better job, but it was sufficient. It was alright. Now, of course, onto the main event, the actual Batman versus Superman fight. It was about 5 or 10 minutes long, I think. It wasn't like massive. It didn't take up a massive portion of the film, but I think it was worth it. I think it was a really good fight. Like I said in my review of the film, it was a bit of a long build-up and a long wait to the fight, but I think the fight was well done. I think it was a really good fight. How they choreographed it, how it went back and forth between Superman and Batman, you know, it wasn't one-sided. There were times when Superman had the upper hand, there were times when Batman had the upper hand, and I just love how it went back and forth between them. It was just great. You know, no matter what you think about this film, no matter how your feelings are towards it, you can't deny that seeing Batman and Superman together on the big screen for the very first time and seeing them fighting together up there on the big screen in this epic fight sequence for the very first time. It's just what we've all been waiting for. It's just absolutely amazing. It was just so thrilling to watch that go down. And like the first time we actually see them on screen together, interacting together in a fight scene for the very first time. It's just great. I think they did such a good job. Like I said, I think it could maybe have been a little bit longer, but overall, I did really enjoy the fight scene, and like I said, how it went back and forth between the two of them. And actually, what I didn't touch upon in my spoiler-free review, which I'll touch on here because it is a bit of a spoiler, the actual conclusion of the fight scene. And although I did say it was a bit rushed, how they went from being, in a battle to the death to suddenly teaming up, friends, taking on Doomsday together, I do think that was it happened too quickly. It was too rushed. You know, they were about to kill each other, and then suddenly best friends teaming up, fighting together. It's like, that was just too quick there. But what I did like was the whole Martha thing, because I know that, you know, Bruce's mum was Martha Wayne and Superman's mum was Martha Kent, but I'd never put two and two together before, and it never occurred to me, oh yeah, their mums are both called Martha. It just never occurred to me before, and I think that was such a clever way of getting Batman to finally hear Superman out and for him to finally listen to him, like, what? And how that brought the fight to the end, and Batman just kind of broke down. I was like, when he heard Martha's name, and I think that was such a good way of bringing the fight to a sudden dramatic end, and also to get Batman to realise, oh my god, you know, this isn't just some otherworldly, ungodly alien creature. This is a guy who has a girlfriend, he has a mother, and the fact that his mother had the same name as his mum, it even strikes a chord to him even more, because it's like his mum died, and now he's got a chance to save Superman's mum, who's also called Martha, and he's like, Martha won't die tonight. You know, I think that was a really great way of bringing the whole fight scene to a very sudden and dramatic finale and conclusion there, and I think it was done in a really quite powerful and effective way. You know, finally onto the last surprising revelation I'm going to be talking about, and it's of course the death of Superman, which I did see coming. Many people are like, whoa, I didn't see that coming, that was really shocking and surprising, but really, I think it was kind of obvious it was going to happen. Not that I think it was necessary, in the sense that, oh, this is obviously going to happen, this is definitely going to happen, but the fact that they had Doomsday there, if they're going to have Doomsday in it, it's probably going to involve the death of Superman, and how they kept hinting at the whole death of Superman for quite a while now. People were saying it's quite a sad, emotional ending. I was like, they're going to do it, I'm like, yeah, they're going to do it, Superman, so I kind of prepared myself for it, because I did, going in, have a reservation about that. It was one of my, if you watch my, hopes, fears, expectations video, that was one of my worries, that they were going to do that, and it turned out to be true, they did do that. But even though I still would rather they'd not have done that, it did kind of make sense in that they had Doomsday there, and it would make sense to kind of have Superman sacrifice himself to stop Doomsday. And of course, even though I thought it was too early for them to do the death of Superman, I think it did work within the context of the film in the sense that pretty much everyone's afraid and scared of Superman. So to have him sacrifice himself, to save the world, that would make everyone go, okay, yeah, he was a hero. He just sacrificed himself to save us. So he obviously is a hero. He obviously is a good guy. So that means when he does eventually come back with Justice League, if he does come back as a good Superman, not an evil Superman, everyone will be like, oh yay, he's our hero. He saved us. He's back. There won't be any like, oh, we're all afraid of him. We're scared of him, like in this film. Because obviously it was darker in this film, but seeing as Justice League's going to be lighter and more fun, I reckon he's going to come back and he's going to be seen as more of the classic heroic Superman we all know and love, seen as how he sacrificed himself in this film. So everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, he is a good guy, he did save us, he is our saviour, he did sacrifice himself to save us all. I think it will work in that way, but I still think it was a little bit too early. But the fact that, it does kind of work with him having Superman out of the way now for Batman to kind of bring the Justice League together in a Seven Samurai way, as Zack Snyder has said, and that sounds pretty cool. I still want Superman to be the leader, but I think it does work with Superman being out of the way and Batman bringing them all together, and so hopefully Superman returning, being kind of reborn from the sun or whatever they're going to do. I'm not sure when he's going to come back. Again, going back to what I said about it being too early, I'm not too up in arms about it. I'm not like, they should definitely not have done that. I think it did work, because the first time it was so much going on, it all happened so quickly and there was so much to take in. It didn't really affect me emotionally in the way that I hoped it would. But funnily enough, the second time it did. I did find it a lot more emotionally impacting. I got involved with it a lot more. I got engaged with it a lot more. It affected me a lot more the second time round, which I thought was odd, because usually things like that happen the first time around, and then you see it on multiple watches and it doesn't really affect you as much. But it was kind of the opposite with this. Like I said, I think it's because there was just so much going on the first time around, it was just so much to take in. But the second time around, knowing what was going to happen, knowing what to expect, I was able to digest it a lot more, I was able to take it in a lot more. And it did affect me quite a bit emotionally, the whole Death of Superman sequence. But mainly, funnily enough, the bit after that, when we just see him there at home, in the coffin, the whole funeral sequence, that really hit me. Like, I don't know why, I just found it quite emotional. Even though I didn't really find it that emotional the first time round, because it was just like, I couldn't really take it all in. But a second time round, I think it did work a lot better for me. I did really like the whole funeral sequence at the end there. I'm glad they didn't rush it, I'm glad they didn't just suddenly rush the film. It wasn't like a Transformers film where just so much crazy shit is happening and then it just cuts off. It's just like, what? Like, what kind of resolution was that? It was like, no resolution, it just cuts off. It was a nice resolution to the film there, how they had the two funerals there, they had Superman there, the black coffin with the silver S, it's just like straight out of the comics, the American flag. It was great, because even though I wasn't too sold on the Death of Superman being this early on, it was a great adaptation. Zack Snyder with the visuals there. It felt a little Watchmen-esque in a way, just how it just looked like the comic book brought to life on the big screen, just looked like you were watching the Death of Superman comic brought to life. It just looked great. And the whole kind of Superman funeral there with just the empty coffin, and then the whole Clark Kent funeral with his actual body is in the Clark Kent funeral. I really like that. And we had the music, Amazing Grace there. So even though I think there were things that didn't work, that did feel too rushed or all over the place, there were a lot of things that I did really like. Like I said, I think the Death of Superman, it did work better the second time round. It did feel like it was a little bit too soon, but I think on multiple watches, I think it does work a lot better, and I think it is an interesting way to just go into the Justice League now, having Batman, having the Seven Samurai, the Justice League together himself, with Superman out of the way there, and I'm guessing Superman's going to come back, we all know he's going to come back, and we have the little dirt levitating off the coffin. It's just a matter of when, because he's probably going to be like reborn from the sun, or something like that, because obviously we see that earlier on, when he's like nuked in space, and then we just see him kind of rejuvenate himself from the sun there. So I'm guessing a similar sort of thing's going to happen there. I don't know exactly how. He's just going to be like rocketed into the sun or something, and he's going to be reborn. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know when this is going to happen, because Batman's going to bring the Justice League together on his own. So maybe halfway through Justice League. It might happen at the beginning of Justice League, it might happen halfway through Justice League, it might not happen to the end. I reckon possibly maybe about halfway through. I mean, it's kind of obvious that Darkseid's going to be the villain, but I'm not sure whether they're going to save him for Justice League Part 2, perhaps. Maybe they're just going to be a different villain with Justice League Part 1. People have speculated perhaps Superman's going to be, come back evil and he's going to be the villain. I'm not sure if they will do that or not, because I think the whole purpose, like I said, of doing the death of Superman was to make everyone realise that he was a good guy, that he was our saviour, he did sacrifice himself to save us all. So I don't know if they'll bring him back and make him evil. I don't know if they're going to go down that route. They may do, I don't know. But I have a feeling that maybe they'll do another villain first, such as Brainiac, or something else maybe, and then maybe at the end, because we know that Green Lantern's not going to show up until Justice League Part 2, but I have a feeling that he'll maybe appear at the very end of Part 1. He will arrive on Earth and just give them all a message like, Darkseid's coming, we need to prepare for this. I think that'd be a really cool way to kind of incorporate Green Lantern in there, just have him show up at the end, him travelling to Earth and giving them this warning, this message that Darkseid is coming. I'm going off on some kind of wild theories and speculations here, but yeah, I think that just about wraps up my spoiler talk for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. As far as some of my other videos are concerned, I still haven't got around to doing my deconstructing a classic with Superman the movie, but there's no really rush for me to do that. I will get around to doing it at some point. And also Daredevil Season 2. I haven't been able to binge watch a whole load of episodes all at the same time. I'm almost done. I've got for about 3 episodes left, so as soon as I finish watching the season, I'll do a review for Season 2 of Daredevil. But if you like this video, make sure to click subscribe to see more. But for now, I've been David O'Sullivan. I'll see you next time.